Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Timothy here with Mana Rocks. First things first, it is Turkey Day. It's Thanksgiving here in America, in North America. Thanks for joining me. If that's something you celebrate, then happy Thanksgiving. And if it's not, then happy Thanksgiving. In honor of Turkey Day, the day where we get to stuff our faces full of food, we are going to do a special episode of By Force for Throne of Eldraine, drafting the food deck. So we're going to try to draft some sort of amalgamation of food generators and food payoffs. Maybe we get lucky and get a gilded goose, or maybe we get very unlucky and we have to scrap together a win with our tempting witches and whatnot. I am going to double up here by request. This one's for you, Mr. Pierogi, the Pierogi dog himself. We're going to try and see if we can get the Cauldron Cat kind of combo going too. So the main cards I'm looking out for here are Cauldron Cat, Witch's Oven, and the Broom, Sorcerer's Broom. Unfortunately, they're often in the same print run, so I think the Broom and the Cauldron's Cat often get put in the same packs next to each other because of the print runs. So it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to pick up all of those cards. And I'm also not going to take them over just better cards for a deck, right? I'm not going to take any of those cards over, like, say, a bacon to a pie or something like that. But we're going to try and see if we can maybe shoehorn that in. Unfortunately, that involves 3 uncommons, so I don't have high hopes for it. So food is what we're going for. Probably green-black, maybe splash in blue. Maybe we open an Oko. Who knows? We've been lucky before. We've been unlucky. But anyway, that's the game plan here. Food is the name of the game. Thanks for joining me for this. If you want to see more videos like this, more episodes of By Force, or just traditional draft videos without the stipulations, then feel free to subscribe to the channel below. We have Brawl content on a weekly basis. I think our Sir Farron the Hengehammer Brawl set will be up probably before this video, so go ahead and check that out and let me know what you think of it. You can also find us on Twitter at MTG_Manarocks. Not sure why I ever say that, because nobody ever adds it on Twitter, but it's an option, right, if you want to speak to me directly. Anyway, name of the game is food here. Let's go ahead and hop into this draft queue and see if we can pick up some green-black food cards. Savvy Hunters, Bacon to a Pie, Feast and Troll King would be a nice one. Guess not. But you know what is a nice one? Actually, it's worth talking about this card for a second, because I went from thinking this card was going to be a bomb to thinking it was just okay to thinking it's actually kind of pretty poor now, right? There's just so many humans, and I completely glossed over the fact that this only affects non-humans when I first saw it. And then I saw it in action, and it's good sometimes, but it's just so bad a decent amount of the time, right? It's basically a draw spell in my eyes. I almost never really overrun it because there are just so many friggin' humans in this set that all the non-human crap that's kind of floating around here just randomly ganks you at times you wouldn't expect it to. Like, Barge In doesn't give your humans trample, and it's purely for flavor, but it leads to some really kind of embarrassing moments when you just forget that your creatures happen to be humans. And there's so many freaking humans. Like, look at this pack. Human, dwarf. All right. Now, all that being said, I still think the card is playable as a draw spell, but you really have to build around it for it to be a mass pump spell. I'm going to take the Fierce Witch Stalker because it kind of fits what we want to be doing here with our food synergy, and you basically can't have too many Fierce Witch Stalkers. It's just green's best common by far. So I'm going to snap that up, and if we somehow get the out muscle back, I'll be pretty happy, but the rest of this pack I could care less about. There's not even really a black card I'm super excited about here, and that's kind of the direction we want to take this. Hello, there's a Bognaughty second pick. Again, going back to my review of the set, I thought Bognaughty was going to be one of the premier uncommons of the set, and it just never really pans out that well. I guess 3/3 flyer for 5 just isn't super impressive in this set, since there are so many 3-power creatures for 4 mana. They just get ahead of the game, like the Adamant Flyer and, you know, your Sphinx and all that good stuff. There's just so many things that compete with this in the air, and it's weak to the removal spells like Scorching Dragonfire and things of that nature that I don't think the body really matches up. But the ability is still really good if you get a massive food, and I am going to take it here. Rare was taken out of this pack too, so it's not really a signal or anything like that. There's nothing really that exciting in the pack outside of that. In fact, this pack's pretty suckish altogether. I'm thinking maybe Spore Cap Spider, Ranger, or Lochthwain Paladin, but this is 2 good food cards to start out with. Following that up, the only actual food card here is Insatiable Appetite, and it's not one that I'm going to pick up early because you can almost always get it later in the pack. So that leads me to just picking up a generically good card in either Revenge of Ravens or Rosethorn Acolyte. Now that I think about it, did I accidentally go into a best of 3 match? I think I accidentally entered a best of 3. So we might actually be playing best of 3 here. Oh, whoops. Yep, we surely did. So that being said, I'm going to pick up Revenge of Ravens. I don't really love Revenge of Ravens in best of 1 because you might just play against the mill deck or something that's not planning on attacking. But in best of 3, if that happens, at least you can sideboard it out in match 2, right? Best card in this pack by far is Rampart Smasher, but it looks like we've got good black cards here, so we don't necessarily have to take that. There's Golden Egg, Foreboding Fruit, and Rosethorn Acolyte, another Wicked Witch as well, which is a playable card, but I'm leaning towards one of the food cards since we already kind of have our game plan going on here, and I'm kind of leaning towards Golden Egg. I kind of like Golden Egg. It almost kind of does what Foreboding Fruit already does by providing a food on the table and drawing into another card. This just gives you basically an extra card on top of that, but I like Golden Eggs. I'm always happy to have them. It opens up the possibility of splashing. Gonna grab the Curious Pear here as another food generator. Not a fantastic card, but fits in a lot of different decks and kind of stabilizes the ground. I've noticed ever since Limited Resources decided to make a podcast saying that this set was an aggro format, that people are just playing a lot more aggro. So, you know, the drones will do what Limited Resources tell them to do. Not that Limited Resources is necessarily wrong. This is now 6th pick, and we've got another Golden Egg, another Curious Pear, a Reaper of Night, and I'm not super excited about Marrowleaf Rider or Witch's Cottage, although one thing to know about Marrowleaf Rider is if you end up with a bunch of food, you can actually just use this to falter your opponent, make everything block this, and then attack with all your other creatures. We don't have a lot of big creatures, though, so that's not really a thing, nor have I ever actually seen that happen. So my question is, do we want the other Curious Pear? Do we want another Golden Egg, or do we want to go ahead and pick up this Reaper of Night, which is a card I like quite a bit in best of 3? Again, another card you can board out against aggro decks, but it's very good against control decks. I am a food deck. We know for a fact we're going to be a food deck. That's the whole point of this video. And I think Golden Egg is consistently better than Curious Pear, unless you really want to be blocking early. I'm going to just take the Curious Pear, though. Ooh, okay, there's the Broom. Again, I think the Broom is kind of a crappy card. I almost never see anybody go off with this card or even really make a copy of it. But it is cool, right? If we're going to be playing food and we have currently 4 ways to produce food and 1 additional way to sacrifice food for value, then maybe the Sorcerer's Broom is going to fit in here. And we did tell Mr. Pierogi Dog himself that we would try it out. So I'm going to grab the Broom. And now I'm really looking for a Witch's Oven or a Cauldron Familiar, or both. Cauldron Familiar is playable in food decks. The only card I'm considering here is 2 Unveiled Treefolk. I don't really want to crash a Drawbridge, and Treefolk's just fine. Alright, so this is back to our opening pack. The other green card we were considering, I don't remember what it was, but it is gone now. And we're just going to pick up a Rose Thorn Halberd. See, look at this card. It only equips to non-humans. Come on. Come on. I actually tend to think Lash of Thorns is better than people give it credit for if you're playing a slow defensive deck, because you have cards like Curious Pear and Merfolk Secret Keeper, and your opponent's just going to attack into those with bigger creatures. You can just get them with a Lash of Thorns. That being said, it's not a great card, neither is Eye Collector, but I'm going to take Lash and hope not to play it here. This almost certainly is not a Rosethorn Halberd deck. Insatiable Appetite is a card that I'm looking for this deck. It is just a way to push in damage. Especially with your Tramplers, your, where'd it go? Fierce Witchstalker and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my first Insatiable Appetite. Normally, I would want a card like Garenbrig Paladin, because it's just a pump spell that's also a 2-for-1. It gives you a creature afterwards. But since I'm doing the food thing, I'm going to go ahead and take this Insatiable Appetite here. Nothing for us in this pack, and I expect not to really end up with too much else here. Alright, red's looking fairly open. Moving into the next pack. Oh, here's another print run. Wow, okay. This pack is actually incredible for us. There's this whole top row minus the fortified provisions. Now, bear with me here. Giant Opportunity is a really crappy card. Like, it really sucks. There's just such efficient ways to deal with the 7/7 token with bounce spells and stuff like that, that it's not worth the trouble. That being said, if I'm drafting this for the sake of it and having a little bit of fun with it, I would try this card out, right? It's not so horrendous when it does work. Like, sometimes you go off and you just kill your opponent with the 7/7. So it's interesting, if not good, right? Order of Midnight and Blacklands Paragon are both very strong as well. And there's also Trail of Crumbs, which is a card I definitely want for this deck. In fact, Trail of Crumbs is just fantastic. Now, there's also the Tempted Witch and the Garenbrig Paladin. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards that I would consider, and all of them would make the cut in this deck. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take Trail of Crumbs, because it is just an essential card that I really want for this deck. It's your card advantage engine in this sort of food deck. And I think I'm going to wheel either Giant Opportunity or Tempting Witch. But if I wheel Order of Midnight or Blacklands Paragon, or even the Garenbrig Paladin, I'll probably pick those up. Tempting Witch is another card I want for this deck. I imagine I'm going to get these two back. In fact, I'm almost guaranteed to get Tempting Witch back. There's no way the bots value that more than these two black cards. So let's go and pick up Trail of Crumbs here and see what we get back from that pack. All right, what do we have next? We have an Edgewall Innkeeper. Currently, we have 2 Curious Pears and a 2 Unveiled Treefolk. There's also a Golden Egg here and a Marrowleaf Pixie, which is quite nice, but we're not really in the market for splashing here. I think it's still early enough in the draft that I'm going to take Edgewall Innkeeper, and maybe I can prioritize some adventures a little bit higherly. Innkeeper's just fantastic card when you get to go off with it, and it's enough better than like our second of either of these cards that it's definitely worth taking here. Okay, Keeper of Fables is a very nice one, just a generically powerful card. This pack's pretty good. All of the uncommons are sweet. There's a Flutterfox, couple playable knights, this card, which people are now jamming tons of, and I guess that's it. But we are definitely taking Keeper of Fables. Pretty happy to pick that up, right? Next on our list, okay, this is probably not... I don't like Gingerbread Cabin. Like, the payoff of just getting a food is fine, but it's not worth the times where this comes in tapped and you can't play your 3-drop on turn 3, which happens constantly. That being said, there's another Curious Pair here, which is not just great with our food cards, but also we picked up an Edgewall Innkeeper, so it's good there. And then we also have Once in Future, which is kind of like a draw spell that you get a lot of selection out of. You get to just get your 2 best cards from your graveyard. And I do think Once in Future is better than Curious Pair by far. There's also a Lost Legion, which I'm hoping not to play because we're leaning towards green quite a bit. In fact, we only have 2 black cards right now. Maybe we end up mono green or something. Ooh, there's the Witch's Oven. There is the Witch's Oven, a card that I would actually play in this deck and be very happy with. One of my favorite cards to pair with Witch's Oven is the Deathless Knight, the green-black hybrid card, because you can just sack it to the Witch's Oven, get a food, and then sack the food to trigger your other stuff, and then you get your life from the food, and you just get the stupid knight back, and you get to keep looping it. So Witch's Oven is a card I would probably play in this deck, regardless of whether or not I had the Sorcerer's Broom, but I'm going to pick it up, and maybe we get the cat. Maybe we get to go the whole way here. I already mentioned Garenbrig Carver as a card that I think is fine, better than Insatiable Appetite. I'm still going to pick it up here because we need to turn our creatures into a win somehow here. Right now we're really lacking power, but I think Garenbrig Carver's fine. Oh, boom, there's the Deathless Knight. Wow, a Reeve Soul as well, 7th pick. This is my big fault on Arena, is never having enough removal, but I'm not going to pass this Deathless Knight. It's just so good in our deck. Garenbrig Squire is an awful card. This is just so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, we're not taking it. I'm going to take Memory Theft. That's a card I'm usually happy playing. All right, back to our opening pack. Every single card we talked about. Wow, the Tempting Witch, the Order of Midnight, and the Blacklands Paragon are all gone. The black cards are all gone. You know what I imagine happens a lot is that the bots open Bake Into a Pie, and they take it, and then they basically end up in black, so black gets cut a lot. Let's go ahead and snag this Giant Opportunity. This is the deck for it, if there's ever a deck for it. Go and pick up that boy. I don't want anything from this pack, but Tall as a Beanstalk's at least playable. We can consider the Gingerbread Cabin. I would need like 10 forests or something like that, but we're very light on black cards. Bognati is great. It is double black too, though. And Return to Nature for the sideboard last pick's not bad. So moving into our final pack, kind of a bust on our rare. I could take it just for gems if I'm not going to take anything else here, because that is something that matters to me. The only other playable for us here is Garenbrig Paladin and also Spinning Wheel. And I do like Spinning Wheel. It actually lets us cut like a black source too, which is nice. And we've got lots of 5s and 4s. In fact, we've got a ton of 4s and 5s. So do I want to pick up another 5-drop, which I think is a really solid creature, or do I just want the Spinning Wheel? And I think my answer is going to be the Spinning Wheel. I do like that card. Yowza. This pack is also great. Malevolent Noble is a card that I know a lot of people like. I think it's just kind of mediocre, like a minor upgrade to something like Garenbrig Paladin. Or not Paladin, but Squire. There's Reaper of Night, Okame Adversary, Beanstalk Giant, Rosethorn Acolyte, Sporecap Spider, and a very, very, very sad Ginger Brute. Also Prophet of the Peak. Perfectly playable. I think my pick is between the two green cards, and I'm not sure which one I want more. Beanstalk Giant's very nice. Goes with our Edgewall Innkeeper. Okame Adversary is just a solid card, but you really need to back it up with a lot of removal or ways to give it evasion to make it super powerful. Otherwise, it's basically just a 4-mana kill spell at your opponent's leisure. I'm going to go and take Old Beanie here. Well, another crack at an Okame Adversary. Oh, also, I forgot this card existed. I completely forgot this card was in the set. Okay, I'm going to grab Okame Adversary now. It's just so good if you play against green. Wombo combo with Kenrith's Transformation. You turn one of your opponents into a green creature. All right, we'll go ahead and grab Curious Pair here. Some people might look at Giant Skewer, but this card is just awful. Don't put this in any deck you have. It's really bad. The fact that it has to hit a creature and can't just hit the player is just horrendous, and the equip cost is so expensive. So, Curious Pair number 3. I am still looking for that cat. Do I want a Smitten Swordmaster for any reason? I don't think it's a big fit for our deck. So I would be picking it for the 2/1 lifelink body, and I guess Merrileaf Rider is a little bit more on theme, even though it's not great unless you have out muscles and stuff like that. But we'll go and snag it. Curious Pair number 4. That's getting to the point where I probably don't want to play that many Curious Pairs, but Garenbrig Carver number 2 is not great. And I don't think I need Prophet of the Peak. I already have these 2 Tree Folk. I have the Giant, the Beanstalk Giant, and I've got kind of like late game mana sink type creatures here. So I don't think I need a Prophet of the Peak. So we'll get a little curious. There's no way we're playing 5 Curious Pairs. I'm going to take a Fell the Pheasant for the sideboard here. Wow, that's a late Wandermare. This card never gets drafted, unfortunately. That's probably going to be our last episode of By Force, by the way, is the Adventure deck, which I'm excited for because I really like that deck, even though I don't think it's super powerful. Could take a Locthwain Paladin or a 2-Unveiled Treefolk. Probably neither of them making the cut here, but I already have 2 Treefolk. Not playing a third, so we'll go and divide it up. Same goes for Hedgewalker. I'll take it, but not play it. And we did not get the cat. We did not get the cat. Sporecap Spider's fine. Malevolent Noble's actually pretty nice with the Sorcerer's Broom. And just fine in general. I have tons of 2-drops already with the Curious Pairs. But I don't know that I need a Sporecap Spider necessarily. There's also the Prophet of the Peak still, but all the same things I said are true. Ginger Brute, this is not an aggressive enough deck for me to want that Ginger Brute. Alright, pick up another Insatiable Appetite, another Memory Theft, and some stuff. Alright, we can make this work. We didn't get like a bomb rare, no Gilded Goose, no Troll King or anything like that, but we've got a functional deck here, and we've got some good late game cards. Go ahead and trim it down a little bit. I think the Curious Pairs are pushing it, though, so I'm definitely going to trim at least 1, probably 2. I don't know that I need Golden Egg, but it does kind of fit with our deck. Garenbrig Carver, I think, the only reason I want the Garenbrig Carver here is because I have the Edgewall Innkeeper, but if I know I'm playing 2 Appetites, I guess I can go down an Appetite and keep the Carver, right? That makes a little more sense. It is just a better card, and then I'm looking at possibly one of the 2 Unveiled Tree Folks, right? Because just putting counters on my creatures doesn't matter that much. I have basically 0 removal spells, so this feels like an 0-3 deck. Like, normally I would cut Giant Opportunity or something like that, but I think it's just going to be sweet in our deck. And what's the last cut here? I think I'm just going to ditch a Tree Folk. So let's look at Innkeeper and see if that's worth keeping here. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to trigger it, and 2 of them are really late game ways. I don't think I necessarily need this Edgewall Innkeeper. I'm tempted to just put in another Curious Pair because it does work so nicely with Trail of Crumbs and curves into Giant Opportunity, Sorcerer's Broom, so on and so forth. I think that's probably what I want to do. Like, if I have this on turn 1 every single time and I get to play, like, Curious Pairs, that's fine. The alternative is to put in maybe another Curious Pair and cut something else. I don't think my deck has enough push for me to really get too far in this draft, but I think this deck's going to be pretty sweet. We've got a lot of food to keep us alive, too. Unfortunately, the only real way we have to use food is Bognaughty. But Bognaughty is a good way to use food if it doesn't die. So what do we want? Do we want the other Curious Pair? Or do we want the Edgewall Innkeeper? I think maybe keeping it like this is fine. 3 Curious Pairs is probably enough for Innkeeper to be okay. And this is card advantage, right? I have Trail of Crumbs too, so maybe if I ditch this and I go up the Curious Pair, that does make Trail of Crumbs better as it is. So it's adding to the card advantage engine we already have while cutting a different card advantage engine. This is why I like Curious Pair. It just fills different roles. It's an adventure for the cards that care about this like this. And then there's it's a food generator for the cards like this that it cares about. And a lot of times when you end up in green decks, you do cross over adventure stuff and food stuff, mostly because of this card and this card. But I think let's go ahead and err on the side of ditching the Edgewall Innkeeper. Memory Theft, I think we can bring in against decks with a bunch of adventures or late game bombs and stuff like that. And we'll go ahead and play what we've got here. Green, black, food. Pretty light on the black. It did put the gingerbread cabin in. Is it worth playing, or do I go down a swamp here? I have 1, 2, 3 black cards. Actually, we could ditch a couple black sources here and go heavy on the green. I have a spinning wheel and a beanstalk giant, so that helps with the black. And I think I can maybe go down to like 5 or 6 black sources. Because Deathless Knight in a green-black deck, I'm always going to be able to cast it. It's basically a colorless card. Yeah, actually, I think that might be better. I forgot all about the gingerbread cabin. And I don't need a lot of black here. It does hurt the Bognaughty, but again, I have a little bit of mana fix. And I have a golden egg too, so actually I have a decent amount of mana fix in. And then what I want to do here is probably ditch Malevolent Noble and put this Edgewall Innkeeper back in. That way I don't have a 2-drop black creature. I could also go Hengewalker here. I don't have a lot to do on 3. In fact, I have almost nothing to do on 3. Yeah, that sounds better. Let's get Hengeboy in there. Alright, so last minute alteration. I think this looks a little bit better, and Gingerbread Cabin's a lot less taxing on your mana with 11 Force, even though, watch, we're going to get boned by this at least once or twice. But let's go ahead and try this out. Again, the only thing I'm really missing to make this what I wanted it was a Cauldron Familiar, Cauldron Cat, whatever the heck it's called. But yeah, that was fun. Let me know in the comments below how the draft went, what you think of it. Go ahead and place your bets now on how we're going to do in this draft. Again, it's best of 3. That was my fault. I usually do best of 1, but let's try it out. We've got some sideboard cards, I guess. So, Black, Green, Food, by Force, episode 4 or 5, I don't know. Thanks for watching. See you in match number 1. All right, welcome. We are starting off in true Mana Rocks fashion with a very close to keepable but mulligan hand. Opponent said hello, but you'll have to give me a second, Aramel. If I knew I was going to draw a force, this would be a snap keep, but I don't know that, so we'll go and pitch, and yeah, we'll try this out, put Toonvale Treefolk on the bottom. And I don't have high hopes for this hand. It's not great, but... Oh, look, green, Oakhame Adversary was in our opening hand. Shame. Basically, Merreleaf Rider's going to trade off with literally anything. Curious Pair makes that a little bit worse, but it's fine. It is fine. Could play the egg, but I'll get the 3-1 down. Merreleaf Rider is very good with specifically Outmuscle, but the only Outmuscle I saw was in pack 1. If I attack with Rider, they snap block, so I'm probably just going to play Hengewalker here. And we'll hold off on the Rider. Has a little bit of value later on if they play a creature that's worth killing, and I can use this, plus maybe like an Insatiable Appetite to take their creature out, then that's pretty good. Oh, not mono green. Oakhame Ranger, making 1/1s. Sure. That's nice. Unfortunately, Oakhame Ranger is not going to be able to get past Merreleaf Rider, I don't think. I could attack with Hengewalker. They go block, block, block. I trade it for 2 1/1s. They probably don't block or they chump it, though. Is Hengewalker for 2 1/1s really worth it? Who knows? I'm going to play Spinning Wheel this turn. I'm going to attack with Hengewalker. If they want to triple block, that's fine. I had a small feeling they wouldn't block at all, though. And again, we have the option, if we just get to a stalemate, which I don't think a white deck's going to let us get to a stalemate. We're probably going to have to trade aggressively. But Marrowleaf Rider with a bunch of food can help take care of some things here. That's a problematic card. A 5/5 seems tough to deal with for me. But we'll just go ahead and play out some things. I guess if they have Outmuscle, we basically lose on the spot. I guess that's not 100% true, but I'm still going to run out just my most efficient card here and pass. Might go for the double block on Paladin. So easy to get blown out against a green-white deck, but they probably just have Outmuscle, kill my Keeper of Fables. Yep, target in. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. Garenberg Paladin. I just like this card so much. It's just so good at just beating down and getting around all the little dorky creatures that normally sit around and block. Ooh. We have a spinning wheel mirror match, I guess. I wish I had a pump spell in my hand. So I think I'm going to go Golden Egg Witch Stalker this turn. I don't really have a spectacular attack. Oh, well, we can play the Cabin untapped. And we could make Oakham Ranger block our Marrowleaf Rider. Is that worth it? Is it worth killing this right now to stop the other things from getting buffed? Probably. I really wish I had Trail of Crumbs, but that's probably worth it. While they don't have a combat trick, sacrifice this. And attack with just the rider. Force the block. Eat that while we can. Now, the good news here is my opponent doesn't have too many cards left in hand. And I have a once in future, so I can afford to basically aggressively trade creatures off here. That being said, my opponent's board... I guess it's really just the Paladin. If I ditch the Paladin here, my board's certainly better. Neither of us have any card advantage going right now. Okay. Alright, make that trade. Play Witch Stalker and pass. And let's see what happens here. Again, Outmuscle is kind of the card I'm most scared of. I wouldn't really care for my opponent playing a big flyer or anything like that. I don't have too many ways to deal with it. But maybe we get some spinning wheel action going on. Something like Insatiable Appetite would be great. Ooh, you also have a Keeper of Fables. Again with the non-human crap, though. Like, what? Why would this card even do that? Alright, so stalemate time. Gonna play out lands. I have plenty to do with my mana. Don't really have any attacks, though, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass and probably just spin and wheel down my opponent's Paladin. Maybe start getting some attacks in from my end. I would love to draw an Insatiable Appetite. It just makes my attacks that much better. Or Trail of Crumbs would be fantastic as well. Our opponent just gonna aggressively sacrifice their food here. I like that. Now, if they hold on to their food, that's kind of a little bit of a tell that they have stuff to use it with. Use with it, if you will. Sure. Yeah, we'll probably just spin and wheel down Paladin. I want my opponent to play lands here. Like, it's okay for you to draw some more lands. Another Keeper. Wow. So I gotta be careful about attacking with too many creatures here. I'm probably not going to be able to attack at all. Could use my Bognaughty, which I can cast. Ooh, trapped in a tower on my Keeper of Fables. Sure. Doesn't change very much. Let's go ahead and tap your... Actually, do I even care if that attacks? Yeah, I kind of care if that attacks. Hopefully they make a bad attack here, forgetting that their humans won't draw them cards. Oh yeah, send that in. Send it in. I'll double block. Ah, ooh, Beanstalk Giant's nice. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Go to 5, go up 1 to get a land. Do I go get a swamp or do I just play a 7/7? The 7/7 seems pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I don't need the swamp. And they're down to 1 card. How many ways can they have to deal with this? They would need specifically trapped in a tower. Alright, I'm going to play a 7/7. I'm not going to get the land here. Or maybe it was right to get the land and just use Spinning Wheel again. And then just play the Beanstalk Giant next turn, thin out my deck a little bit. So this is going to be a match that I think is determined by how effectively we use our spinning wheels. I can attack with Beanstalk Giant here and force... Basically, they just block with whatever. I don't mind if Beanstalk Giant dies, to be honest. I just don't want them drawing cards here. But if I go tap a creature on their turn and then I have effective blocks on these, I can maybe trade off resources. They're also probably just going to tap Beanstalk Giant. So let me just go to combat real quick. Yeah, I think my opponent's actually... No, they've got the edge here because they can tap now and then they can, on their turn, tap one of my blockers and then attack with basically a bunch of stuff. And that's actually not great for me because they're going to draw some cards. It does make them use their spinning wheel on their turn, though. Alright. Maybe they don't use it aggressively. Let's tap down Garenbrig Paladin. This is not a human. Note it is a giant knight, so it will trigger Keeper if it hits me. Of course, if they go like tap Fierce Witchstalker... Oh no, they drew a pump spell. That's not good. That or they just want to draw a card here. I mean, if they drew a pump spell, I'm in so much trouble because they've got their stupid spinning wheel. But if I can trade something here for a Keeper and then maybe use my Once in Future to get some cards back, that's fine. Like, I could see cracking my golden egg. Yeah, they're just going to outdraw me now. This is bad news. I wish I could kill their spinning well or draw enough cards to out-creature them. Ooh, another Okame. They've just got multiples of their uncommons here. This got extremely bad extremely quickly. Okay, well, I've seen enough of this game. That was going evenly there for a second, and then they just outdrew me on creatures and spells, I guess. I am going to bring in Return to Nature for sure, because we saw multiple targets for it. And I just think the pump spells are going to be so good in this matchup. Tall as a Beanstalk's not something I want, though, because they have the Trapped in a Tower. Memory Theft also seems decent, so those are cards I'm considering. Two Unveiled Tree Folk seems a lot worse when they have the Witchmacallit again. Trapped in a Tower as a form of removal. I don't need this Insatiable Appetite because of the Garenbrig Carver, as mentioned earlier. Merrilleaf Rider does seem pretty poor. I guess I can pitch two Unveiled Tree Folk and maybe one of the Curious Pairs. I mean, this match is going to be determined by, like, flyers, or my opponent just brute forced us, really. I think I have maybe better card advantage than them. Honestly, they have two Keeper of Fables, but outside of that, we didn't really see any actual card advantage. And what's our last cut here? Probably, like, no, 7/7's not bad. Maybe I only need one Memory Theft. We saw two Okame adversaries. Memory Theft and an adversary is... Or Okame Rangers, not adversaries. Maybe ditch the Broom. This is a tough one. Probably going to cut one of the dorky food payoffs. I actually think the Giant Opportunity is going to be relevant this game. Return to Nature. Alright, I'm probably going to ditch the Broom here. I'm not 100% sure. Garenbrig Carver. Don't want to go down too many more Curious Pairs. It is kind of an essential card here. Oh, what would you all cut? What would you cut? I'm leaning towards like Merrilleaf Rider. It's just so bad, but it does trade for the Rangers. It's either that or it's just a dorky card, really. Alright, I'm going to just bring in one Memory Theft. Let's not overload on cards that don't affect the board, and I will see you all in round number 2. Alright, we are back. We're on the play. We have our turn 2 Curious Pair. No third land, but we've got a couple 2-drops, and a third land gives us Spinning Wheel into Revenge, potentially Bognaughty on turn 4 or 5, and Bognaughty seems pretty good in this matchup. Opponent's taking a mulligan. I do like the turn 1 pair, turn 2 pair. Hopefully we just rattle off a couple lands here. That'd be pretty nice. Shaboom with the forest. All right, nice. Land number 3 is good. I'm going to go ahead and run out Merrilleaf Rider because there's a small chance they don't have a blocker, and then this gets in some actual damage. There's a good chance that... Oh, yeah, they have no blocker. That's nice. All right, let's push. And let's go Spinning Wheel, pass. This plus Insatiable Appetite actually could deal quite a bit of damage. Mysterious Pathlighter. Alright, if I draw a land, I'm just going to play Bognaughty here. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and attack first, though. There's a chance they want to trade these. I'm okay with it. Cool, cool. Bognaughty's actually immune to Trapped in a Tower, which is nice. So they have to use green-based removal, which is fight spells, and that means Insatiable Appetite will help me win that fight. Plus, this can now pick off small creatures. I'm going to play, I guess, just Curious Pair, right? We don't need to play Revenge of Ravens. They're not attacking us yet. I can play both, but then I can't hold up a pump spell, which doesn't matter really because they don't have a damage-based way of hitting this Bognaughty, so I can just play out the rest of my spells here. And can we draw Keeper of Fables? Is that a card we can draw? Keeper of Fables. Okay, well, opponent is better than us, I guess. I mean, I could attack with both, or I can just lock this down with Spinning Wheel for a turn. That means I'm not playing anything from my hand. Definitely attacking with Bognaughty. I could also play Curious Pair and then activate this to shrink their Keeper of Fables. I'm just going to go ahead and use the Spinning Wheel here. Ooh, they made a food. They got us. They generated food. Tap your Keeper. And then they played nothing? Ooh, okay. Well, I don't mind chumping with some Curious Pairs. Let's go ahead and Memory Theft them. See what's going on over there. I'm guessing Trapped in a Tower. Oh, their hand's just terrible. Okay. Never mind. So let's force the advantage. They're actually go to 8 here, and they're dead next turn to Insatiable Appetite. So I'm going to play Curious, or make a food, cast Curious Pair, and then go for the win next turn if nothing else happens. I don't really want them to draw an extra card either. Oh, that's true. They can gain some life, so they're not dead. Although if they attack me, they take 1 from the Revenge. Yeah, I'm going to block with a Curious Pair. I don't want them drawing cards when I know their hand is just whatever the opposite of gas is. Gingerbread Cabin's actually not a bad draw, considering that it's fuel for Bognaughty here. I'm going to attack with... If I go 3, 4, put them to 9, they can't actually attack me. But I have Spinning Wheel active. Yeah, I should have attacked with Curious Pair. That's my fault. I'm just going to Spinning Wheel this Keeper of Fables and then see if they can stop me from winning next turn. I really don't want to just... Oh, shoot. I guess that's fine, too. I meant to tap their Keeper. Oh, well. Let's see if they play a blocker or not. I might just go for the win. What could they even have here that stops me from killing them? I guess that's fine card to play. Play it slow, draw an extra card. They don't have anything. I'm just going to go for the win. Alright. They must have drawn, I guess, 2 more lands there. Or they could have drawn Trapped in a Tower. It doesn't affect Bognaughty. If I had more flyers, I would board them in here. We saw a flyer, but that's not enough to bring Fell the Pheasant. We haven't seen any Fairy Guide Mother, so again, this is not a card I want. I am on the draw here, so are there cards that I really want on the draw? Memory Theft does seem good. Basically, the card I'm scared most of from them is Keeper of Fables, because they can just use it to card advantage us. Maybe I want Lash of Thorns. Lash of Thorns seems like a reasonable combat trick against them, but I don't want to overload on combat tricks. It's just I can use this to trade off a Curious Pair for basically anything. I am 2 for 1 in myself if I do that, though. So is that our game plan? Are we 2 for 1 in ourselves to win this game? Do I ditch like a Garenbrig Carver and bring in a Lash of Thorns? I don't really think so. I think I'm just going to keep the configuration as is and hope that we just have a good parity game. So I guess game number 3 coming up. All right, welcome back to game number 3. We're on the draw, and this hand does not get started till turn 4. But even with that being said, I'm going to keep it and hope that the golden egg gets us there. They're going to make a food. Kind of glad they're making a food, though, because Curious Pair doesn't really change things too much. Hengewalker is also a creature I can just play out, even if it's a 3-mana 2/2. If that's going to trade for something, I'm fine with it. Again, I'm happy with them playing Curious Pair because it is a human, so it doesn't work with their Keeper of Fables. And also, it doesn't threaten us that much. So we're going to play Golden Egg this turn. We threw a Forest so we can Hengewalker next turn without having to use our egg. And then we get to curve Hengewalker, Fierce Witchstalker, Keeper, maybe even Bognaughty. Bognaughty was just super essential last game. All right, opponent's on board. They're probably also not really getting started until turn 4. I guess they could have a play here. Hopefully it's not Mysterious Pathlighter. Okay, it's a Beanstalk Giant. That's a good one. That's going to be a tough card for us to deal with later on. There's the Broom. Ye old Broom. But let's go and play a 3/3 here. I like that they gave me the option to not play Adamant by using my Golden Egg. Also, you're going to hear me jostle around a little bit to fetch my charger. All right, so there goes the Adversary. Man, can I just draw a memory? Oh, there it is. We drew the Memory Theft. And Siri's on? Hey, Siri. All right, so what are we doing this turn? We have 4 mana. I feel like I can possibly beat this card. So I think I want to just get another creature on board this turn, and then next turn, hopefully I have 5 mana, and I can go like Broom plus Memory Theft you and take that Beanstalk Giant. I'm wondering if it's better to just Memory Theft now and take the Occam Ranger. But right now my board is better than their board, so this isn't the scariest thing in the world. I also have Bognaughty to kill it. I think I'm just going to play Fierce Witchstalker this turn. I think I can probably attack with Hengewalker too. Offer them that same trade as last time. And then I'm actually following up with a blocker this time, so we'll see. Like, if they go... I guess worst case scenarios, they go land, Occam Ranger, and then trapped in a tower, the Witchstalker. Let's see. I do want to Memory Theft that Beanstalk Giant out of the way, though. Because I think that's going to be the hardest card to deal with. Okay, let's see if they had the worst case scenario. They did not. They're just adding another 2/2 to the board. Fine by me. Let's go ahead and snag whatever they got in hand and then play this Broom. Oh! Alright, how do we care about 2 Rangers? I think Bognaughty's just going to be fine at dealing with them. Do I care about Keeper that much? They have 4 humans and then this thing. So which one do I care more about? Honestly, I think it's the Keeper. Because if they go next turn, just play this. They can start pumping stuff. That's pretty good. But I think I can keep up. Although, again, the Keeper of Fables doesn't actually do that much. Because they only have 1 creature that gets through. I'm going to go ahead and grab this thing and grab this thing, which is awesome. Play this, pass turn. And I have reasonable blockers for their creatures here. So I imagine they just play Keeper and pass. I do need to dodge some removal from my opponent, though. Okay, they're empty-handed. They got food active. We're going to go ahead and Nog the Bog, which can take this thing down. And actually start going off with the Broom, too. So we kind of need to fade this turn. We need our opponent to brick this turn. And then I think we can start taking over a little bit. Because I can sack food to this and then use the other 3 mana to activate the Broom, make more blockers, and just kind of outcard my opponent. I do want to kill this while I can, though. So their top card, if they drew like a Silver Flame Ritual or something, I might actually be in a decent amount of trouble. They drew a Garenbrig Paladin. Okay, that is a beatable card, but a good one. I do have Insatiable Appetite in my hand. Right now, I don't mind drawing a bunch of lands. I don't think Curious Pair is what I want to go for. So I'm going to go ahead and kill this now with Bognaughty and then just make another Sorcerer's Broom. Or I could forego making a Broom and just play like Curious Pear. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this though. Let's go sack of food, target this, and then make another Broomstick. Yep, opponent's going to go ahead and pump. That makes sense. Yeah, let's make a Broom. And am I attacking with Bognaughty? Because my opponent's got 2 relevant attackers here. If they send both of them in, I could just take a hit off of Garenbrig Paladin and send some double blocks at this Keeper. I don't think I'm blocking with Bognaughty regardless, so let's start getting some damage in with that. Did I miss a reach creature? No, I miss reach a lot. Alright. We're doing decent here. They're going to send in the Paladin. I'm going to double block the Paladin. Hopefully they didn't draw a trick. I have no way to protect myself. Alright, they're going to go and trade for Fierce Witchstalker. Cool beans. What you got in your hand, opponent? Okay, Mysterious Pathlighter, sure. So that can actually draw cards. Oh, Gingerbread Cabin, again, pulling its weight this game. So I go 1, 2, 3 to kill Mysterious Pathlighter and just make another Broom, right? Yeah, I like that. Let's go kill this, sack that. That just prevents them from being able to kill my Bognaughty and then attack with the Pathlighter and start getting in damage. Make another Broom. Don't get to make a second Broom, but this gives me just tons of blockers. They're not amazing blockers, but I can like triple block a Keeper of Fables or something. Now that being said, my opponent has a lot of ways to just come back from this, but it's nice that Trapped in a Tower specifically, one of their better removal spells, can't deal with the thing that's currently beating them. Keeper of Fables is going to get in there. I will double block with a Hengewalker and a Broom. And then that does give them slightly better attacks on the ground. But I'm probably going to play Keeper of Fables this turn. Ooh, they drew a pump spell. Outflank. Okay. Well, they got me there, so they're going to just take out a couple blockers. But doesn't really get them super far ahead here, so I'm fine with it. Garenbrig Carver's fine. Alright, so if I play this, I still have 2 mana available. I'm going to draw an extra card this turn as well. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I have anything to cast on black that's less than 4 mana, so I can tap that. Let's go ahead and play the Keeper, attack with Bognaughty, draw our card. This is not a human, right? Just a fairy. Get naughty in the bog. And again, we're putting our opponent down to 8, so Insatiable Appetite is lethal next turn. Alright, we drew a swamp. So drew a land. We can go Curious Pear. And then cast Curious Pear seems fine. Alright, you're up, opponent. Right, same exact thing that happened last game. Insatiable Appetite no longer lethal. This is plus 5, 6, 7. That's 10 damage. But opponent, I guess, drew a blank there. Nice. So after losing game 1, we got to snag the win off of game 2 and 3. And our deck performed pretty nicely. Honestly, that was Bognaughty really pulling the weight for those last 2 games. But that was sweet. I liked it. Let's see if we can just replicate that 4 more times. So we get to snag the game 1 or match 1 win. And I will see you all in match number 2. Alright, welcome back, y'all. We are here for match number 2 against Marilyn Nodell. Okay. I will play first. Ooh, some of our better cards here, but 1 lander on the play. I'm going to be a mature adult and throw that back. This is a much slower hand, but I am going to keep it. A lot of things need to go right. I think I'm going to ditch Bognaughty on this one. I'm not ditching the 4-drops because those are the ones I'm most likely, and this is a better stabilizing card. We don't know what we're up against here. Hopefully my opponent just plays a turn 1 green permanent somehow, and we get to play Okame Adversary. Look at all these nice people saying hello today. Thank you, Marilyn Noeldo. No, Canadal. Oh, play a green permanent. Don't make a food. No! They're going to play an off-color permanent. Alright, they are green, though, so maybe I get to cast this Okame Adversary. They're making white mana. And then casting a Fairy Guidemother, so we're against kind of another aggressive deck, I would assume. Let's go and just snag a Witch's Oven and pass. Been saying snag a lot. Alright, play a green permanent. Play a green permanent. Opponent, please, one time for me. No, don't pump it. Okay. I drew a green permanent. Alright, let's make a food and play a 1-3. So next turn if I draw a land, I'm just playing an adversary anyway. But the good news is we know they have at least this, so on turn 3 there's very likely a good chance they're going to play a green permanent, and then we can play our Okame Adversary. Drawing a bunch of land would be nice. I guess we got lucky and drew our 3rd land already, but let's go and take our 1. They're probably playing Rosethorn Acolyte. Nice. Alright, and we will play an Okame Adversary. Or, do we want to just go ahead and jam this Deathless Knight? See, the thing about Okame Adversary is, if I can play it for 2 mana, then there's a chance that I can do this plus something else in the same turn. The upside of Deathless Knight is that it either offers a trade or just hits him for a billion right now. I can also sack it to the Witch's Oven and start getting that thing going. This just doesn't use my mana as efficiently. I'm going to go ahead and play Deathless Knight. Although if they take the block, that takes their green permanent off the board. So it's not even a guarantee I'd be able to play this for 2 mana. But drawing the 4th land there was nice. And just get that hit in for 4 is pretty good too. Alright, I'm going to take some damage. I'm going to block the Rosethorn Acolyte if they attack, but they can play a 5-drop this turn, so like a Garenbrig Paladin would just shut me down for now. Hey look, Garenbrig Paladin. Alright, Pump Spell would be awesome. Fierce Witchstalker is also fine. Okame Adversary can't actually block Paladin, which is super annoying. I bet I could get away with the attack on this. If I just chump attacked into that, I wonder if they block. They're going to have more ways to pump stuff because they're playing white. Well, I guess my last round opponent was also playing white. I'm just going to play Fierce Witchstalker and pass. And hope that they don't just follow up with like another super big creature. Acolyte into Paladin is a very good start. Alright, let's see the attack. I think I can afford to take a little bit of damage. Nope, opponent decides to keep the Paladin back, which I can respect. And let's see what they follow up with. Wandermare. Alright. Wandermare into an adventure creature, perhaps? No. Spinning Wheel is not a bad draw, so I'm going to go Spinning Wheel into Adversary here. I still don't have good attacks, but Spinning Wheel is a way to get past this Paladin. Granted, they might make Wandermare big enough to have to deal with as well. And I'm just going to ship it here. I actually probably shouldn't be auto-passing because if they target any of my stuff with removal, I can use the Witch's Oven. Alright. I'm a little scared of what else they can play here. Like something like a 2-Unveil Treefolk on either of these creatures would put a real clock on us. Looks like they're going to go for Outmuscle. I am going to go ahead and do this. Their Wandermare is still going to be indestructible, though. This doesn't fizzle the spell. And just Wandermare attacking makes sense. No box. I think the bots value Outmuscle way too highly. It's kind of egregious. I could play Keeper here, just get another big creature on board, or I could... I can't hold up Spinning Wheel, that's actually not an option. I'm just going to play Keeper and hope that their hand isn't just infinite Outmuscles. It could be. That would be really bad for me. But I do have a lot of life sitting on board. I now have a Pump Spell, which is relevant, especially with my Deathless Knight. I just don't want to jam it into them having, like, a bunch of pump spells of their own, which I think they probably have. I don't think they played a land last turn, so they're likely on a bunch of spells. This looks like a Silver Flame Paladin if they do something pre-combat. Sure. I mean, just getting in 2 damage is fine. And then they're going to play that, and Wandermare is going to become a 5/5. This is all well and good. I still have a decent blocking force. Alright, so I think I'm going to go for an attack this turn with my Deathless Knight. If they block with this or this, then it's fine. I'll just trade it off. Could go with the Fierce Witchstalker as well. But I do want to leave enough creatures back. Mainly because if I attack and use my pump spell, they're going to have to retaliate. Well, they're going to retaliate and I'm going to have less on defense. But I think I'm going to get the... I guess let's send the Witchstalker in. Because if they just go for a single block and I trample over, that's pretty good. I get to draw a card. They're probably going to double block. They might not block at all, to be honest. Alright, let's go and send Witchstalker in by itself. And see which creature they'd want to throw away. Again, there's a reasonable chance they don't want to throw any creature away. And they just think they can deal more damage back to me, which might be true. Alright. If they single block, that's awesome. But if they do something like this and I can even trade just Witchstalker for like Paladin, I think that's pretty good too. I think Paladin's actively better than Wandermare, so I would rather get this Paladin off the board. Alright, and we will not draw a card here, but this is okay. Go ahead and pump, trade for Paladin. And then maybe just go Curious Pair. Create a million food tokens. Still getting beat down by Fairy Guidemother, but if that's the only thing that's hitting me, I think I can fight it. Again, I have 12 life sitting on board here. I have Witch's Oven to kind of help me stabilize the game. Insatiable Appetite would be an awesome draw. Bognaughty would be a really good draw. I need my opponent to play not scary creatures. Yes, play lands. Play lands. Looks like they have reactive cards, too. Ooh, Trail of Crumbs is awesome draw. I don't really have an attack this turn, but I'm going to go Trail of Crumbs here. Make a food, and then I can try to hit a land drop right now. And then just leave myself tapped out for their turn. I think I'm going to. I need to hit land drops. Auto pay. I did not hit a land drop, but I hit a Revenge of Ravens, which is kind of nice. So I could see my opponent going for a big attack this turn. Especially if they have ways to back up attackers. Revenge of Ravens will shut off Fairy Guidemother. All right, what's coming up next? Opponent's hitting a lot of nonsense. We're gonna go Revenge and pass, and probably just sack a food for no value on end step here, just to keep our life total high. But Revenge of Ravens with a lot of food is kind of nice. It limits how many times my opponent can even attack me anymore. And I didn't do that because they didn't attack. So now I guess our question is, how are we winning this game? That is actually a really good question. Gingerbread Cabin's a good draw here. Play Paladin. I can go end of turn, sack food. Yeah, we'll go and play Garen Brig Carver. Pass the turn. Kenrith's Transformation. Sure. I could sack that in response and just shut my opponent off from drawing a card, but I think the 3/3 body's still relevant on board. I do have more cards than them. I could go the deck-in route here, but I think if I draw like a Bognaughty, I'm looking fine here. Curious Pair, sure. Giant Opportunity would have been okay. Sure. We'll go ahead and do this. Play Curious Pair. And I am 1 mana off from using Spinning Wheel here to block down Wandermare. My opponent has drawn 9 lands, but can't really attack me. So let's go ahead and sack a food. We're back up to 16 life. Draw a card. Let's just get a Henge Walker here. More bodies can't be that bad. Okay, Beanstalk Giant's really nice draw. Am I scared of a memory theft? They haven't... Oh, they can't memory theft me. They're not black. I'm black. Alright, let's go and get a land. Doesn't really matter what I get here. And then I'll play good old Henji boy. What if I attack with just all of these? Wandermare eats one of these, and then the other ones either trade. I don't think we're at that point yet. I have the spinning wheel again, so I'm just going to keep coasting off the value of my Trail of Crumbs here. Surf Farron, I guess, is something, but I'm at such a high life total now that I don't think it's that big of a deal. They can't have creatures in their hand, otherwise they'd be playing them. Go up to 19 life. Click the food. Alright, auto pay, yes please. We'll get a forest. Alright, play a forest and a Beanstalk Giant. And pass the turn. Beanstalk Giant can definitely attack into this board. Edgewall Innkeeper. Alright. We now have double card advantage. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I was about to say, let's see if they've been sandbagging adventure creatures to hope to draw Innkeeper. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Alright, Wandermare is going to get bigger. Keeper of Fables is a nice one. So they might even attack with Fairy Guidemother here just to draw a card, even if it means they don't deal any real damage. They decide that's what they're going to do. Alright, so this game is probably not coming down to... probably not coming down to damage, I don't think. Unless we find a way to push through. We do have a once in future. So yeah, I have 3 mana up. Let's go and sack a food. Again, I'm not quite on the deck and playing here. I think I can still win this match. Alright, drew a forest. Drew a forest. Alright, I think it's time to start using Spinning Wheel now. If I attack with Beanstalk Giant now, the best block they have is this plus this. I think I'll just wait until end step, use Spinning Wheel, and then also grab a food here. Opponent has 2 cards in their bin. It's kind of funny. Alright, are we on the decking route yet? They're going to go to 14 cards. I'm at 14 cards. But they could also draw themselves too deep with the Edgewall Innkeeper if they cast more adventures. Like, I can use Spin and Wheel to just stop Fairy Guidemother, right? Alright, they're casting, or they're putting counters on the Fairy Guidemother, sure. And then casting that, draw a card with Innkeeper, sure. It's another big creature on board. And I no longer think I'm attacking because they put another big creature on board. But let's tap Wandermare here, and then I will Trail of Crumbs. And this will put them 1 card over me, I think. Alright, let's sack a food. Alright, golden egg, sure. It's food. Alright, we really need to hit Bognaughty. I think if I find Bognaughty, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just worried they have another removal spell in their hand. And then what's my plan, I guess, is the question. I can also start using Witch's Oven with Deathless Knight, so I don't think my opponent can kill me if that's their only attacker. I'm going to go ahead and cast this golden egg. Alright, drew Giant Opportunity. Is the 7/7 good, or do I just want 3 5/5s? I have no idea. Or did I say 5/5s? Do I want 3 Trail of Crumbs activations? I don't think so. hopefully they cast some adventures, go down to 10 cards, and then he'll just play the deck out game. My opponent's going to need a lot more flying to kill me. No blocks. Like, Fairy Guidemother's only a 2-point life swing. Ooh, you know what I could actually draw here is Merrileaf Rider, and then I could do the food thing and have a bunch of things block it. The problem with that, of course, is they kill it mid-combat. That doesn't really work. So, Occam Ranger, not bad. Everybody has the same cards today. Alright, this puts a lot of bodies on board. Maybe they can kill me after all. They just can't afford to swing out because of Revenge of Ravens, so I think I'm okay. Occam Adversary. Opponent's deck is very good. Just gonna draw normally. Wow. Well, we only have one land in the top 7 cards of our library. Do I make a 7/7 here? Go 7/7, sack 2 food, double trail, but I think if we're not going to die to damage, that we're going to deck out here, and right now, my opponent will deck out before I do. So I think I'm just going to pass and let this continue as it is. My opponent has a ton of creatures, but they just don't have a great way of dealing with Revenge of Ravens, it seems. I mean, they could have a main deck like Return to Nature, or kill Revenge of Ravens, and then kill me somehow, but I think I'm good against small attacks because of the Deathless Knight, and I think I'm good against wide attacks as well. Maybe they can kill me, and I'm just not doing the math, right? I guess I go tap their flyer and make them work for it. Still a billion cards in their hand. Once in Future would be a nice draw. Ooh, they drew their Once in Future. Outmuscle and Garenbrig Paladin. Yeah, they're just going to try and brute force me here, and they might be able to. Their creatures are fairly big, especially with that Occam Ranger. Alright, here comes the Outmuscle on Beanstalk Giant with the Occam Ranger, I suppose. Sure, let's go ahead and sack that. Make 2 food. That thing's indestructible this turn, which is annoying. Alright, we're going to take 2. Oh, Sir Farron's getting in there? So opponent's going to take 4 here. And they're going to pump the fairy +2. Okay. So I guess we got to figure out what we're doing now. So Sir Farron seems like something that I don't mind killing. Guess I'll block with this. I could also go triple block. And then I can afford to go here, here. And then this thing's coming in, but it's indestructible. I think I want my opponent to draw cards here. Oh, I already used Witch's Oven, so I can't turn Deathless Knight into a thing, but that's fine. I'm going to go back up to 22 on end step here. My opponent's going to draw 2 cards. Yeah, they might be able to brute force me here. And probably play Garenbrig Paladin off the Rosethorn Acolyte. Sure. Opponent at 7 cards in library. So I can afford to get back Deathless Knight and draw an extra card. Oh, there goes the Once in Future, which would have been an awesome draw. And I can afford to draw 1 additional card here. So let's make a food. I might just play Giant Opportunity and make a 7/7. Draw a card, sure. Merrileaf Rider or 2 Unveiled Treefolk. The Treefolk seems pretty good here. The Merrileaf Rider does not. And why is this not back in my hand? I guess I already gained life that turn is the problem. Bognaughty. Alright, Bognaughty is a very good draw. So I can play Bognaughty and go ahead and shoot down some creatures, I suppose. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I didn't mean to say nice. Now it looks like I'm being pretentious. I have 3 activations of Bognaughty. Opponent says nice back. Awesome. And then I could go 2 Unveiled Treefolk and just pump up like a Curious Pair or something. My opponent's going to start getting aggro. Oh, they GG'd me? Are they going to win, or did they just GG me because? Alright, Bognaughty. I'm going to wait for their turn, and then I'm going to go... I guess I should have killed this right away. So, I killed Sir Farron, right? One thing about Sir Farron is if you target something and then you give it like -3/-3, it becomes a -1/-1, and it actually shrinks the targeted creature. So I'm going to go ahead and let them attack again before I do anything because of the Revenge of Ravens. Alright, big creatures getting in. Opponent with 6 cards. So just Paladin... Oh, nice. I forgot Deathless Knight would just come back off Revenge of Ravens. So if I try to shrink this, they go Occam Ranger in response. I could go for a double block here, but I have double Bognaughty activations. I could also block here and then try to shrink it, and then they need to use a trick, but I don't want to get outflanked. I could also just take 8. I think I'm just going to take 8 this turn. Alright, well, they activated, so I'm going to go ahead and activate in response on this thing. I do want to sack that. I do not want to draw a card from Trail of Crumbs because my opponent is still a card deeper than I am. Decline. And let's see if they have a pump or something. No. Alright, so I'm going to take 6. And I think Giant Opportunity is just going to go ahead and make food for me here. Oh yeah, they drew a card off that, so now I can go a card deeper. This is game 1. This is a ridiculous game 1. It looks like they have another Once in Future or something like that. They also only can attack me 10 more times. Like 10 creatures total can attack me. And they concede. Wow. They didn't want to see how this ended. Wow, that was an insane match. Alright. We're against the Beats again. Again, I think the pump spells are pretty good. They have Out Muscles as kind of their key cards here. I like the Memory Thefts again. So I'm debating these cards. I don't really think the Tree Folk's that great. I can't imagine Merrilleaf Rider is ever relevant in this game. Revenge of Ravens just saved us. They're going to bring in their Return to Natures, though, so I don't think we can coast on that the same way that we just did. I wish I had more flyers. Alright, let's not bring in the other Insatiable Appetite. I think I'm going to ditch Merrilleaf Rider. Sorcerer's Broom is just too cool. Alright, Merrilleaf Rider out. Giant Opportunity seemed like it would have been relevant. A 7/7 that early in the game can be pretty good. Lash of Thorns also seems decent against them, although they have Outflank, which is kind of the combat trick killer. Maybe I just don't need this. I guess if I bring in a combat trick, I just bring in another Insatiable Appetite, which I don't think I'm going to even bring in. I could see cutting like Golden Egg, although it is pretty nice in our deck. They saw basically everything. Spinning Wheel even was relevant. So basically back in the same point we were in the last game. Alright, let's not bring in a second Insatiable Appetite. Maybe go down a Curious Pair here. The 1/3 bodies aren't fantastic. And then the question is, do I want 2 Memory Thefts or do I want 2 Insatiable Appetites? And honestly, leaning towards wanting a Memory Theft. They have card draw and all that good stuff. But I think 1 Memory Theft's probably enough. Although Insatiable Appetite's not even that great. Alright, I'm gonna take a Memory Theft here. I don't have a lot of swamps, though. Okay, I don't have a lot of swamps. Let's bring in another Insatiable Appetite. Alright, we'll run it back for game number 2. Hello, boys and girls. Have you ever gone Curious Pair, Giant Opportunity? Because if we draw a third land, that's what we're doing. Turn 1 Curious Pair. Oh, the Gingerbread Cabin. So I can actually go Gingerbread Cabin. If I didn't, yeah, I could go Cabin and the next turn go Food. And then turn 3 guarantee this Giant Opportunity. I miss out on the food from Gingerbread Cabin, but we need to go Forest for that to be relevant anyway. Ooh, Sir Farron's okay. Sir Farron is okay, but we're going to go make a food, and then hopefully a 3-mana 7/7 just stomps them. They don't have a lot of answers for it. They do have Okame Adversary and Outmuscle, right? So those are possible answers. They could have Trapped in a Tower even though we didn't see them. They are off to a very good start, though. It's turn 3, they're up a card, and they've got just all their mana used every turn. And we did draw a Forest. But let's go ahead and make a 7/7. I don't even know if it's optimal play to make the 7/7 here. Alright. Do we have attacks OP? This is very eggs in one basket kind of play, right? We have a Wandermare, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Let's say they have an outflank. They can go trade. We could put 4 counters on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and attack. If they want to trade a bunch of creatures, they do not. I could go Curious Pair, but they're probably going to go Henge Hammer. Oh, what if they have Outmuscle? What if I play this and they go Outmuscle, Wandermare, kill this thing? That would be so bad, right? I'm just wondering if it's better to go double Curious Pair. Nah. Let's go and play Fierce Witchstalker and hope they don't have Outmuscle here. Or I guess a removal spell in general. They could also go pre-combat, like pump Sir Farron and then attack. Like if they had an Insatiable Appetite, give this +5, attack with 2 things, and deal 1,000,000 to me. That would be maximum suckage, I guess. Okame Ranger, sure. Oh, they're just casting it. Sure. They could go Sir Farron plus Wandermare. They do not. I kind of want to put 2 counters on this thing. But what happens if I attack with the 7/7 now? They have to put 3 creatures in front. And I get to kill any 2 of them. I'm a little scared of what's going to happen next turn. I'm not going to lie. But I could press the advantage. I could put 2 counters here. They just have way too much damage if I swing everything out, right? So I think I'm going to leave Witchstalker back. Attack with this. Again, I'm fine with trades or chumps. Yeah, Curious Pair is going to go and get in the way. Fine by me. And then we'll go Witch's Oven, Curious Pair, and then they've got a pretty good attack on me, I think. Because they can pre-combat pump everything and then give Sir Farron +3/+3, which will also give another attacking creature +3/+3. But that does tap them out of 3 potential creatures here. Double green, Kenrith's Transformation. Oh no. Do I want to deny them a card or do I want the 3/3 on board? I think I want the 3/3 on board. Alright, that is an answer to a 7/7. And let's see what the rest of your attacks look like, my friend. Alright, well, we had it too good for too long, I guess. This did eat a creature and deal 7 damage to him, so I guess this is fine. Alright, what else you got, opponent? What else you got, Marilyn Canota Dill? Fairy Guide Mother Innkeeper? Okay, sure. Oops. Is that an oops? So I assume we're gonna... Oh, it tapped him poorly. Alright, take 3 in the air. They did not activate the Ranger. I assume that's so that they can block with Wandermare on defense here. So I can go 2 counters on Witchstalker, and then they go double block as potentially their best block here, and trade for Sir Farron or for Wandermare. And then I can also play the Broom. So I'm going to do that. I think that's a pretty good line of play here, is just to try and get this damage in while I can. I mean, if they don't block or trade, I have it coming in next turn too. Alright, question now is, which one do we want to kill the most? Probably Wandermare. Surferin is pretty gross, but it's not a great attacker. Wandermare is just a nice little roadblock here. Man, what if I had a pump spell? This would be amazing. Alright. Sure, so we trade Witch Stalker for Wandermare. And then play a Broom and pass. Alright, alright. This is a much more even... I guess last game was pretty stalematey, right? It was a pretty even game. Oh, True Love's Kiss. Sure. We can actually deny them the card here, which is nice. They will not draw a card with True Love's Kiss. And, ooh, Insatiable Appetite. So here, I kind of want to just play the 6/5, but what if I attack with this? They either trade either of these for it? That seems pretty profitable for me. I imagine they don't block. Oh, block with Surferin? I'll trade this 3/3 for Surferin. Yeah, I'll just make that trade. And then play a 6/5. Alright, I would love to draw once in future. Any kind of card advantage here would be nice. My opponent's got theirs going. I wouldn't mind Revenge of Ravens or Trail of Crumbs would be reasonable. Adversary's really annoying because now I can't just jam my big creature. And then another Surferin. They probably just had that in hand and didn't mind trading off because of the legendary rule. Alright, Swamp is not a great draw. So yeah, we have no card advantage going on, which is problematic. Our opponent's actually got a really good board set up now. They've got card advantage in these two. If they block with Okame, or if they attack with Okame Adversary, I probably just have to like Curious Pair and Insatiable Appetite to kill it. I don't feel as good about this game as I did about last game. I'm taking 4 a turn as well, so I'm close to actually just dying in a couple turns. Yep. Here's where not having removal in your deck sucks. But I never see Bacon to a Pie anymore. There's literally never a copy of Bacon to a Pie in any draft I've done in like the last 10 drafts. Hengewalker, not an exciting card. I guess it can attack into their board, but we're close to dying. You'll know last turn I did not sack the food because I do have Trail of Crumbs. I do have ways to use my food. But I think my opponent's just outpacing me here. Doesn't feel like they've drawn a land in the last couple turns, so they're on all spells, and they've got just a good board against me. I'm still not going to sacrifice a food here. Here comes the 6/5. They're going to draw a card. Yeah, they're just kind of crushing us at this point. My hand sucks. Wildwood Tracker. Okay. Alright. And that's going to be GG for us. We don't have a way to really draw out of this. And they can probably just push in the win next turn. I didn't do the math, but it feels like they can win. Maybe not through the food, but they're just so much better off than we are. Fell the Pheasant still seems pretty bad. They only have a Fairy Guidemother as their only flyer, even though Fell the Pheasant is fantastic against Fairy Guidemother. I think it's a little bit too situational. Return to Nature. That can kill like Kenrith's transformation, but that's not that great. This is really a game where we need Trail of Crumbs or some sort of engine going. And then we don't have good ways to deal with the big fighty creatures or anything like that, so I think I'm just going to keep it as is. Tall as a Beanstalk seems pretty bad. I don't really want to give them more targets for their True Love's Kiss, but I'm not feeling great about this matchup. I think their card advantage is just better, but we'll run it back for Game 3 and see you there. Alright, as promised, we're back for Game 3. We do not have the turn 3 7/7, but I guess we've got a Curious Pair. We can draw into another card. Black mana gives us Memory Theft. Golden Egg can also give us Memory Theft. This is a fine hand. It's not exciting. It's a lot worse than a lot of what my opponent could start off with. They've just got I think a pretty succinct, nice green-white deck going on over there. And they have a couple sideboard answers to some of my better cards, so Things like True Love's Kiss is just a nice sideboard answer to Revenge of Ravens or Trail of Crumbs. Gonna see a turn 1 Fairy Godmother. Alright, black mana is not the worst in the world. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and play Curious Pair over Golden Egg, though. And I could hold on to Memory Theft for a little while here, because there's a good chance my opponent plays an adventure at some point. Youch! Alright. I guess I'm gonna lose this game. Not necessarily. I'm going to try to go for Garenbrig Carver in the block here. I actually don't even know how that goes too bad. I guess that they have a pump of their own. Alright, what do you have to respond? I mean, if this just trades, I'm pretty happy. No, they have something as well. Ooh, I don't think we saw that Garenbrig Carver the whole game, right? Maybe they played it in game 1. But now we're losing. I guess I go Memory Theft this turn, but they're just going to outdraw me with this. I think this game just ended that turn. It doesn't feel like it, but I think this game is officially over. The fact that they just keep drawing cards. I mean, they don't have a third land, but they're going to draw 2 cards a turn. I'm just going to take their best card here in, like, Outmuscle or Keeper of Fables instead of trying to take... I guess if I noticed they hadn't had 2 lands, I could have played something else this turn and just saved the Memory Theft for a different turn. Ugh, they got a little lucky me going green creature into them having adversary. It's probably why they kept the hand. I'm going to snag this Outmuscle here, get that out of there. Yeah, I could have just played a 3-2 this turn. That was bad. So now they're getting a second shot at hitting their next land drop, and then if they do, they get to play their Rosethorn Acolyte. If not, Merrily Rider's fine too. Still bricking on the land there. Let's go and play a 3-2 and pass. This is going to snap block on the adversary, and then we're probably just going to play a vanilla 6-5. Basically a forced block. They drew a 2-drop, if not a land. Alright, here comes Rosethorn Acolyte. Wandermare. Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to play a 6-5. Our hand is pretty boo-boo. Trail of Crumbs would go a long way towards helping us stabilize this game. Yep. Alright, so we're a little stabilized here, but our opponent's going to outcard us for sure. Oh, and they drew the Innkeeper? They're going for the greed plays, not going to lie. So they're giving us time. This needs to draw something very relevant here. That is... Alright. If I attack, they probably go for a double block. If they don't block, they would need a double block with these, and then I'm taking 2, but they outdraw us pretty hard. I'm going to attack. I have some food to gain life here, and I think they're not going to block. I need to get in damage while I can. Opponent's going for the greedy card advantage plays here instead of just beating down as much as they can. I'm going to take approximately 1 million this turn. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay, maybe that attack was bad. Alright, everything coming in. I like it. Boom, 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 boom. Go to 4. Trail of Crumbs might be a little bit too late. 1, 2, 3. Sack this. Go to 7 here. Am I just dead? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I am actually just dead. So I have to resolve that and decline. Wait, I haven't played a land yet, have I? I don't think I've played a land yet. Yeah, I have to pass and then use another food here. If my opponent has an interactive spell in hand, we're dead, but... Alright, let's see the attack. Just the fairy, okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Sure. Alright, what's your play? Nothing. Alright. Alright, I like it. And they're gonna respond? Sure. I mean, that's good. I've already drawn a couple cards off of it. But I still get my card here. Ooh, Keeper of Fables is nice. All right. They got to draw another card as well, but they did that on my end step. They could have done it and just... I was going to get the card regardless. There's no way for them to stop that. I think they should have just done it and tried to hit a land drop. So what if I attack now? I'm still very close to just being dead. So I think I go Spinning Wheel, Keeper. And I think this even keeps up Golden Egg activation. Can I afford to attack again? Trade off for 2 creatures here. If they play an Adventure, grow this to a 5/5, and I don't block it, but I block like here, I take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to attack. I probably should have decided whether I was attacking or not before all that. What the? Okay. So trade those off and pass turn. Opponent's probably smart to go for the double block there. There's the 5th land, so we're going to probably see Prized Griffin this turn. Again, Keeper of Fables is really... Oh, really? They want to just attack with the 5/5 this turn. Sure. And we know they've got so many cards that we're not going to be able to keep up with them, but sure thing, I suppose. We are in a losing position, that's for sure, though. Alright, so no blocks. Go to 3. I'm probably going to crack Golden Egg end of turn here so that I can keep up my Spinning Wheel next turn. Oh, wonderful. Alright, I'm going to attack here. My opponent's probably going to chump with Curious Pair so I don't draw a card. Deal. Drawing 11 lands has not helped us take advantage of our opponent being mana screwed. But I think we could have played a little bit better. We should have played our Garenbrig Paladin on turn 4 instead of that Memory Theft. Especially since our opponent couldn't play their Adventure creature on the following turn. So we kind of messed up a little bit. 2 Unveiled Treefolk. Sure. I mean, I'm just going to do this anyway. There's nothing else I can do about it. If my opponent has like a +2/+2, then we die. Nope, go down to 2 and draw another land. I'm going to go ahead and attack and see if I can draw anything relevant here. Bognaughty. I guess that's a relevant card. Can I afford to Bognaughty plus use Spinning Wheel? I can. Alright. Well, if they don't have anything, this actually gives me another turn. It's asking a lot, but it does give me another turn. Here comes Treefolk, draw a card. Okay. Go ahead and tap your 6/6, and then I will trade. Go to 1. Can't afford to eat the Edgewall Innkeeper, unfortunately. Deathless Knight keeps me alive another turn. Play that and pass turn. So we go tap 6/6. Unfortunately, I can't actually even eat a creature here, but they can't really attack with both either. I mean, they can. Keeper of Fables, you got it. Alright, tap your 6/6. If they attack with both, I do have to... Oh, I don't mind that. I have to block anyway. I might as well double block. Outflank? No, just trade it off. Opponent smartly keeps the Deathless Knight around, and they're just keep continuing to jam creatures. All right, land number 12. We got it. Let's give them the GG, scoop it up. I don't know if we would have won that game had we played the Paladin on turn 3 and traded off and denied him a card, but it was the right thing to do. We still drew like 11 or 12 lands, so even then, they do say Mana Flood beats Mana Screw, and it definitely beat us there. Well, Mana Screw beats Mana Flood. That puts us at 1-1. We had a really, really long game, so let's keep the chatter short. And remember, another loss will kick us out because this is best of 3, and we're going to jump right on into match number 3. All right, welcome back to match number 3. All the chips on the table because we're now playing our win-it-ins against the Hound 92, and we've got a pretty decent hand. Trail of Crumbs is probably our best card in the deck, so I don't mind taking that. We've played against some exhaustive green-white lists, so let's play against black this time, I suppose. Make a food, pass, probably play Marrowleaf Rider on turn 2. See what our opponent plays first. Not blue. You know what I would have loved? A Gilded Goose. Alright, green-black. So a mirror match, if you will. I'm going to play Forest here in case I draw Hengewalker, and then play the 3-1. Same reason as last time. If my opponent just doesn't play a blocker, this actually deals damage, whereas Curious Pair is almost not attacking ever. I can even force a block here with the food token. Yeah, like there's a chance I might just get away with 3 damage here. Let's go and attack. And then what are we playing after that? Probably go make a food and then play a Curious Pair. Yeah, 3 damage seems decent. Let's go ahead and reveal that we are not, in fact, mono green. Although my opponent not playing anything for the first 3 turns probably means their hand is just stacked full of, like, big creatures. And we've already seen we have a problem dealing with big creatures. Well, let's see. End of turn. Foulmire Knight. Okay. Death Toucher is alright, I suppose. Good card. Ooh, Abzan. So the question is, which color are you splashing, white or green? I asked you a question, Hound92. Youthful Knight. That's also reasonably annoying against us. I could sack a food, 2 Unveil Treefolk, and force this thing to block. Is there anything that gets us for green mana? So I can go Trail of Crumbs. No, I would have to go 2 Unveil Treefolk this turn, and then they'd have to double block here. So I trade a lot of tempo and my 3-1 to kill off Youthful Knight, and then they can decide whether or not they want to go for the double block. I think that's probably worth it. The alternative is just like setting up some more stuff, maybe using Trail of Crumbs or something like that, but I would rather use this in a turn where I can activate. I think I kind of like this play. 1 green. I mean, they could go like Rose Thorn Acolyte into something, and that would be super annoying. Plus, if they don't block with the Foulmire Knight this turn, it just gets them next turn. Yeah, sack a food, make this thing block. And then I'm going to give my opponent the choice here. I could force the block with the Foulmire Knight as well. I'm going to attack with our Curious Pair. Alright, so we just eat the Youthful Knight. Decent. This also means if they just tap out for like another big creature, let's say they play like a Prized Griffin, I can just force another block with the Marrowleaf Rider. This is big enough to eat almost everything. Wow, really? A tapped Idyllic Grange and you're splashing? And you have a Doom Foretold? Alright. Doom Foretold's annoying, but you're going to sack your Foulmire Knight. So I'm going to untap, sack Curious Pair. I've seen people play this a lot more recently. Alright, I think I'm going to go Trail of Crumbs plus Golden Egg. If I attack with Marrowleaf Rider and trade, they just have to sack Doom Foretold. And then this just goes away, right? So I'm going to attack here. And they either take 5 or they just untap and lose this thing. They have to sack this anyway. Okay, I'm going to go Golden Egg into Trail of Crumbs, and I don't mind sacking Golden Egg to that Doom Foretold next turn. Remember, you can't sack tokens. I'll let you read this card real quick if you want to pause and read it, because it's super complicated. Basically, it says each player has to sack a non-token on their turn. Not lands, of course. If they can't, then it basically makes a 2/2, drains some life, and, you know, pitches a card. What is going on? Cauldron Familiar. Okay. Well, you need food to make that good. Crash and Drawbridge, sure. There's some wonky stuff going on. They have Idyllic Grange, Island, Forest. What is happening? Alright, so Doom Foretold will trigger. I'm going to sack the Golden Egg. No, let this resolve. Just straight up sack the egg. And then that's going to trigger my trail because we sacked a permanent. I'm going to try to hit lands here, I think. Okame Adversary, we can't. Well, we could play it, but I want to actually... I can attack here if they block with Cauldron Familiar, they have to either sack the bridge. All right, I'm going to just attack here. They could be playing anything at this point. I have no idea what's going on in this game. Yeah, so if they sack here, or if they block here, then they have to sack their drawbridge. If they ever sack Doomfortold to itself, like if it's their only permanent, they have to sacrifice it. So they need me to get down to no permanents before they get down to no permanents. And I'm just going to play another Curious Pair, I think. I have plenty of food. Maybe I go Curious Pair, Curious Pair. That way they can't, like, kill one of my pairs. Oh, I can't. Duh. Alright, so pretty straightforward. Let's go pair, pair, and then they untap, and they either sack the Doomfortold or they sack their drawbridge. And it's not optional. Alright, well, they killed their own blocker. They need food to get this Cauldron Familiar back. So far, black-white. Alright. They have to sack their Doomfortold next turn. They can't sack a token. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to sack my Curious Pair. I'm going to attack. I don't mind if they use a trick here, especially drawing that. And then probably play Occam Adversary. I can't actually cast Bognaughty. Alright, let's go and attack. And I'm pretty sure if they sack Doomfortold to itself, they don't get the trigger. They're just letting me eat the token. Interesting. I guess they are at 11. Gonna go and play an Occam Adversary and pass. Alright, and then they have to sack Doomfortold to itself, and they don't get the trigger because they were able to sacrifice something. This is a treacherous card. You basically need your opponent to run out of permanents before you run out of permanents. So if you're really far ahead, it actually closes out the game. But if you're behind, or your opponent can just dump more non-token permanents than you can, I think it's just so bad. That being said, this 3/3 Vigilance, man, Marrowleaf Rider has just been the stone cold nuts. Look how many things it's killed. It's killed everything. All right, I'm just gonna attack with everything here, and I'm not playing around literally anything at all. I have no idea, and then I'm just gonna play my 6/5. So I'll let my opponent block whatever they want to block. If they go for like So Tiny on my Death Toucher or something, then I can interact with Insatiable Appetite. Otherwise, I'm just gonna put more pressure on them. And if they don't block, I could just go for the win, I suppose, but they've got a tough decision here. Do they block my card advantage engine, I guess, or do they just trade the big chunk of damage? In their position, I don't know what their hand is, but I'd be tempted to block the adversary. Alright, and then 6/5 it is. We could be playing against a newer player, too. Like, I don't know, this hand, like, you take Crash and Drawbridge out, and you have a game plan with Doomfortold. This isn't bad, but what's going on with Island, Forest? Like, they just played a 2-Unveiled Treefolk off of a green splash? It's not a thing. It's not a thing you do. Just going to attack with both my creatures here. Either one is a trade that I'm fine with. Adversary keeps drawing me cards. I'm okay with that, too. And then I'm going to play a Fierce Witchstalker. I guess I could play Bognaughty? Ooh. So next turn, I can go... Oh, they just concede. Alright. Fair enough, fair enough. I'm out-carding them by a lot. I don't even know how to sideboard. Like, do I bring in Return to Nature against Doomfortold? And just, I don't know, make them sack a permanent? Or, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, this kills Crash and Drawbridge as well. Look, I don't know what's going on with my opponent's deck. I need to see more and why they're splashing, but for right now, I think I'm just going to keep my deck exactly the same. I'm not even sure I want the Memory Theft. They're playing, like, Knights with some weird cards and some weird splashes. So let's just run it back and see how we do in game number 2. Alright, we're back for game number 2, as promised. We have turn 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty set up here, so this is a fine draw against whatever my opponent's doing. I'm curious, maybe they have, like, just bombs. Like, maybe they're black-white, and then they have, like, a Lochmere Serpent. But their green splash was for, like, 2 Unveiled Treefolk? I don't know. They mulliganed, as expected in a hand like that. We're just going to run Forest here for the Hengewalker and just ship it here. I mean, a turn 2 Youthful Knight doesn't even matter that much against this Curious Pair. There's the Forest. Could be messing them up. Or not. Alright, let's run another Forest. I didn't really want to draw land here. I would have liked a couple more options, but it's fine. I guess if they augment this with a 2 Unveiled Treefolk, we're in a little bit of trouble. But Revenge of Ravens tends to be good against decks like this. There's the drawbridge. You know, I do have a creature with haste in my deck. I have a Deathless Knight. 2 Unveiled Treefolk was not bad draw, I don't think. At the very least, if they augment Youthful Knight, I can then augment one of my own creatures. Oh, I hope they play Island. They just, like, mull to 6 and they have, like, perfect mana. What? Alright. Let me see the Mountain next turn. Play Chromanicore. Or whatever it's called. Play some card that's not in this set. Play the Dragon. Alright, they're going to Frogify my Hengewalker. Ironically, still a 2/2 because it has a +1/+1 counter on it. And it's now a blue frog, as you can tell by the art. Alright. I will block with my 1/3. Look at this. Look at this perfect mana. Ooh, Keeper of Fables is nice. Unfortunately, I don't actually have good attacks here. But I can go Revenge of Ravens, and that means my opponent also doesn't have good attacks. And I'll ship the turn. So I guess my opponent... Well, what was my opponent's plan, though? If they Frogified this and even turned it into a 1/1, they still can't attack in the Curious Pair. So I'm not sure why they Frogified Hengewalker. It can't attack through their drawbridge. I get the impression I'm playing against a newer player here, and maybe they have like a blue card and a green card in their deck, and the auto land thing just put a bunch of islands and forests in their deck. I don't want to, throw my opponent under the bus here. I don't know for sure, but that's just the impression that I'm getting here. I mean, they could have counter spells. I just don't know what to play against or play around, so I'm just going to jam my stuff here and see what sticks. Keeper of Fables, is kind of whatever when my creatures don't attack into their creatures. Alright, there goes the Foulmire Knight. Sure thing. If they had nothing else to do, they should have done that on their turn and maybe hit a swamp, and then they could have played it as well. Foulmire Knight's a really good blocker against my deck because I don't have ways to get it off the board, but it's a really bad attacker against Revenge of Ravens, as is Youthful Knight. Oh, Jesus. Alright, this is the type of game decks like this can win, is when you don't draw much. So, what are my options here? I can attack with this, and then they just trade Foulmire Knight, and I hate that. I could also just put 2 +1/+1 counters on my Frog and attack with that. And then if they trade with anything, that's okay. If they use a removal spell to deal with it, that's okay as well. Then I have the 6/5. I don't think they have a counter spell because they would have countered this Keeper. So I'm just going to put 2 counters on Hengewalker and just trade that off for whatever my opponent wants to trade it for. Whether it's a card from their hand. I guess if they had a kill spell now and killed Hengewalker, that would suck, because the Treefolk would be countered. Nope, it was not countered. Even if, they blow me out here, I'm not losing that much. If I get a hit in, I draw a card. Oh my god, am I going to get a hit in? Oh my god, Kitty Cat drew me a card off my Frogwalker. Ooh, can't cast that, though. Alright, pass turn. Opponent did nothing. I'm, kind of scared, but kind of not scared. Sure. That does not scare me. It does block, though. Idyllic... Oh, God. I'm so sorry. And then Hypnotic Sprite? Huh. I guess they couldn't counter the last couple plays. Hypnotic Sprite's not very good against Revenge of Ravens, though. So their hand is empty. They've got blocks for days. Golden Egg is a fine draw. I'm gonna... Well, let's attack with Hengewalker first, because if they trade for Foulmire Knight, I want to get just another big creature on board and start bashing. If they don't, then I'm just going to use my turn to, play these 2 cards. Okay, I'm okay with this trade. So now I'm going to just play 2 Unveiled Treefolk and just have the biggest creature on board. Plus, I'm pretty sure Keeper of Fables can start attacking now, too. Their creatures can't really attack me, ever. That's why this card sucks. Design-wise, not power-wise. I've not played a land. This is a deck that just wants to play all of its lands because of cards like Trail of Crumbs. Just mana sinks. All the food requires mana as well if you're going off with the Witch's Oven. Alright, top deck Supreme. What you got? Ooh, looking at your graveyard. Order of Midnight. That's a good card, though. But they only have one black source. I just realized they're playing freaking Hypnotic Sprite. Okay. And Frogify. Oh, I don't even know. They just must have had an absolute train wreck of a draft here. So they can't cast anything in their hand here. If I attack with both, they've got 2, 4, 5 power. This would any number of triple block in just kills all of their creatures. So I'm gonna jam and jam. I'm gonna get Curious Pair in there too, just because none of these block it profitably, and if they want to block with the drawbridge, that's less damage they can just soak up by blocking one of the big creatures. So Curious Pair can get in there. I'm fine with just eating things too. Alright, I guess they're just going to throw away 3 creatures. Fine by me. And then we can go... I do kind of want to get the land out of Beanstalk Giant, but I wonder if I'm just supposed to end the game and play this. Nah, I'm going to go for the greed line. Draw a card. I did not mean to go on full control. Search up a land. And play a land. And I will say go. So again, they have one black source. They can only cast one of these things. They can't even like cycle and cast. And they just concede. Alright. Well, that was an interesting match. I would have... I'm curious. I think that was just a newer player. Maybe hasn't drafted a lot. And getting the impression by the colors and the card choices, but not much to talk about in that match. Let's go ahead and run it back here. At least we get to make some gems back. So I'll take the kind of freebie win there, and hopefully we can spike the next match and get all of our gems back. So this is match number 4 coming up. All right, y'all, we're back for match 4. Again, all the marbles on the table. We've got a hand with a mana ramp card and a bunch of 4-drops. Actually, 2 mana rampers and a bunch of 4-drops. None of which are actually super impressive, and I'm not supposed to keep this hand, especially on the play, but I am. I did it. Third land would be just awesome. It's going to be the Gingerbread Cabin. Oh, it's going to get us. This is the game where it bones us. I hope my opponent just goes 7 dwarf, 7 dwarf, 7 dwarf. Once upon a time for a Beanstalk Giant. Okay. Edgewall Innkeeper. Oh, my opponent's just got... Look at this. Look at the standard start. It actually doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and pass. Well, I'm feeling perhaps outclassed. 2-drop? No 2-drop, though. Alright, let's go Beanstalk Giant here. It's just the most permanent form of mana ramp, as opposed to the Spinning Wheel, which could potentially get blown up. And I'm just going to have whatever mana I need here. I'm just going to go ahead and get a Swamp here and pass. And then let's see what our opponent sticks here. It might be a good turn to just stick Revenge of Ravens if my opponent's going to get some ramp on board. Or some creatures on board. Like, it stops this from attacking me. It really kind of decreases the chance that anything's attacking me. Alternatively, I can go Spinning Wheel into Golden Egg. But Spinning Wheel does guarantee if I draw a land, I can play Beanstalk Giant. Yeah, I guess Spinning Wheel Golden Egg's not too bad. Maybe that's a little bit greedy. A 6/6 Beanstalk Giant next turn. There are multiple spells that kill that. Epic Downfall, Bake into a Pie. Somehow my opponents always have Bake into a Pie, even though I haven't seen one in like the last 10 drafts. My opponent has a lot going on here. Wait, is this Beanstalk Giant in their hand? Ooh, getting feisty. Oh yeah, they didn't actually cast Beanstalk Giant. Nice. We got some damage on board. So I'm guessing my opponent doing this means that they have a removal spell in hand, and they know that if I tap out for Beanstalk Giant this turn, they can just kill it and deal a bunch of damage. Otherwise, they could have gone like Beanstalk Giant into like Halberd and just dealt a smaller amount of damage, but it looks like they're trying to push as much damage in on the board as possible. So with that being said, I'm wondering if it's better to go Revenge this turn and Marrowleaf Rider and just have like a potential trade here and have the Revenge going, or if it's better to actually play the Beanstalk Giant. Beanstalk Giant's the best use of my mana. I'm just going to go for the Beanstalk, and if they have the removal spell, that's pretty bad for me. I go down to 8. They have 6 mana available as well. I mean, if they attack with like the 4/4, can I even really profitably block that? No, they're going to go ahead and fetch up a land. And... oh, Savvy Hunter. Okay. So, Battle of Big Creatures, I suppose, is the name of the game here. And that's not a bad draw. I'm going to go Revenge plus Okame Adversary here. And their Beanstalk is going to be bigger than my Beanstalk, for what it's worth. No innuendo intended there. But Okame Adversary is nice on this board. It just trades with literally anything. And I will pass the turn. So we're going to sit here and stare at each other. I do have Revenge going, though, which is nice, even though they've got some big, beefy creatures, so it's not as nice. I assume their Beanstalk's coming down. Oh, right, they have Innkeeper, though. Ugh, I really love Outmuscle. Ooh, that's a good draw, though. So what do we do here? I don't really want to go all eggs, one basket with the 2 Unveiled Treefolk. I could put some counters on Okame Adversary and make that a better blocker. Could also play a 6/5. I have Once in Future, which is a nice little grindy card to have here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put counters on the Adversary and just hold up Insatiable Appetite and pass. This gives me 2 really good blockers against what they've got going on. If they want to attack with Beanstalk Giant, which I guess they do not. Alright, that doesn't mean anything. They could still attack with Beanstalk Giant here. Okay, another Rose Thorn Halberd is fine. They equip it to the 2 Unveiled Treefolk. Interesting. That could have gone on the Beanstalk Giant. No attacks, I'm guessing. The only thing that can really attack here is the Giant. Huh. This is interesting. So, if they have Insatiable Appetite, then I just counter with my Insatiable Appetite. Alright, I'm going to double block and just guarantee this thing dies. It's just a Garenbrig Carver, so I don't even have to sack the food then. This does get rid of my trick in hand, though. Decline. So we basically get to trade trick for trick. I have Spinning Wheel active. I'm going to probably just play my 6/5 here, I think. Could also go Rider and then hold up Once in Future. Nah, Once in Future doesn't actually do anything. Can't really attack them. Alright, let's pass. Yeah, we can play that as well. Alright, so pretty even game as far as board goes, but Edgewall Innkeeper makes this hard for me to win right now, I think. Maybe I should have attacked with my Okame Adversary. But no, I want that to... Sure. I want that to threaten a block on one of their big creatures here. Like, if they attack with Beanstalk and 2 Unveiled Treefolk, I'm just going to trade these 2 for it. Curious Pair is a whatever draw, really. Not a real draw as far as I'm concerned. My opponent is going to beat me at this rate, though. I assume they have removal in their deck. Their graveyard is better than my entire deck. And ship it. I need Trail of Crumbs, like, stat. Nope. Can't use Spinning Wheel. I don't want to just aggressively sacrifice food here. Keeper of Fables is nice. Just a lot of green going on today. Green is good in this format. They're down to 1 card, though. Down to 1 card. Ooh, is it a good card? Ayara. Really, I did not expect that. That's the only black creature they've played besides Savvy Hunter. So this has to sacrifice black creatures to draw a card. So currently, it's just what it is, right? Which isn't like a huge deal or anything. Ugh. I need to draw extra cards here before my opponent outdraws me. Still going to play all my lands. I wonder if there's a win here with Marrowleaf Rider. Like if I can accumulate enough food. That could be a game plan. Alright, well, we're going to start using Spinning Wheel, I think. Tap down, I guess Beanstalk Giant's just the most threatening thing. Ginger Brute, sure. It's going to chip in a little bit of damage. Actually, that doesn't do anything with Revenge of Ravens. Oh, they have the Rosethorn stuff. Sure. I mean, they have to pay mana into it, and then I just tap it down. No, not that one. Let's just go ahead and tap it. Alright, I guess the Rosethorn Halberds do make that a pretty good draw. Alright, opponent's debating an attack here. They have a lot of damage on board. Will they do it, though? I don't think so, but they might. They've also got enough non-humans that they can push in at least one here, but they'd have to make some pretty bad blocks. Come on, game. Why do you hate me so much? Why do you hate me? 9 lands so far. Reaper of Night. So what I can actually do here, just to make sure I don't get completely boned on that, is I can use Once in Future and not pay Adamant to put a card back on top, but that's only if I really want to draw one of these cards. And I don't think I actually do. But the Reaper of Night is actually pretty disgusting here. They can cast it too and draw a card. They're just going off. I'm not going to be able to beat them. I've drawn too many lands compared to too many extra cards here. So do I want one of these cards on top? I kind of think like Marrowleaf Rider might be my out to victory. Alright, one. But then I'm drawing a Marrowleaf Rider next turn, which is pretty bad. And then I need to draw like straight gas. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put Marrowleaf on top. Return to your hand. Return to the top. Sure. Nope, I will not pay Adamant so that the Marrowleaf Rider goes to my hand and doesn't get... it goes on top of my library and it won't get discarded by the Reaper. I could cast this Insatiable Appetite too, but that doesn't really do anything. I'd rather just use my Spinning Wheel to lock down this Ginger Brute. You got it. You got it. I am getting just completely destroyed here, by the way. Still no attacks, huh? Alright, might as well tap a creature. I guess it doesn't matter what I tap because I'm in no position to be attacking. I'm going to draw this Marrowleaf Rider, and then I need to draw... I'm just never going to have enough food to do this, so I shouldn't have drawn this Marrowleaf Rider. I'm going to pass, and now I have to tap or tap. And they've got multiple creatures that can just crush me here. How do we sideboard against this? We can't, right? We just need to draw Bognaughty. That's our answer. Ooh, they have removal for Beanstalk now, too. Make this indestructible. Alright, this game is over. Our opponent kind of destroyed us with that Edgewall Innkeeper, I think. It drew him like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra cards this game. They've also got removal spells, which sucks. I'm having trouble beating removal spells. Return to Nature seems reasonable here. Although, I guess we only really saw a Ginger Brute and a couple Rosethorn Halberds. I think the pump spells are just better at the helpers. Crush and Drawbridge also beats Gingerbrew, but that's not where we want to be. I do want the Memory Thefts. I think that's how I potentially beat an opponent like this. And we will do kind of the same thing. Go down a Curious Pair. I don't want to cut too many creatures. Revenge of Ravens doesn't actually seem very good against them because they can just make their creatures huge, but it is just a good way of fighting. I think Giant Opportunity is probably fine as well. The Rider is still quite bad. This card pulled its weight against an opponent who didn't really do too much. Alright, I think we're just on the same boat where we keep trying to board in the same cards, and then we just don't need that many copies of it. So I'm going to go down a Memory Theft and just bring one in. Yeah, not having any Reeve Souls or anything to actually kill like an Edgewall Innkeeper is just game over if they draw it. I like all the big threats. Kind of need them. And I think Marrowleaf Rider is going to be my cut here. Yeah, alright. Let's run it back for game number 2. Alright, we're back. We have a fine draw. Not a particularly strong one against an aggressive start with like 1-drop into Rosethorn Halberd or anything like that, but it's still a fine draw here. Bognaughty seems very good against an opponent. Okay, or you could always draw your Once Upon a Time. By the way, I mention this every time someone does it. This is how not to play Once Upon a Time. You should always just draw and then use Once Upon a Time before you're about to cast your first spell, because if you're looking for lands, you might just naturally draw lands. My opponent did it on my end step. If they're looking for a forest, they could have just untapped and drawn a forest, and then saved this to find something potentially better. So, I guess moral of the story is don't do that. Forgot we had this Sorcerer's Broom. Let's go ahead and just cast this Curious Pair and pass. I see people just make that misplay all the time. Normally you cast it on your first turn. You just don't need to do it on your opponent's end step and be all fancy because it's an instant or whatever. Alright, let's go ahead and get in our 1 point of damage. Suck it, opponent. And then we're going to go make a food and then make a broom. By that I mean cast a broom. And then we're going to hope to draw a bunch of lands. No, not that one. There we go. Sorcerer's Broom can help us go wide. Although we're not really in a position to be doing that, I guess. No 3-drop? Alright, let's attack and play a Curious Pair. We did not hit our land, unfortunately. And our opponent's probably going to drop a 4-drop next turn. I guess Insatiable Appetite's reasonable here. Beanstalk Giant. Do you have a 2-drop to follow up with? Didn't have a 2-drop last turn. Also, I guess they drew the Beanstalk Giant because they didn't even have a 2-drop the turn before. Well, unfortunately we're sitting on 5 drops. We do get to go ahead and jam for just a little bit more here. And see what our opponent plays as their 5 or 6-drop. Drawing a land would be amazing. Oh, okay. Well, it was fun. Thanks for joining me today. My name has been Timothy with Mana Rocks. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. You can find us on Twitter at MTG_Mana Rocks. This can just minus to destroy a creature, right? Destroy a creature, draw a card. Alright, let's do the thing we have to do. As much as I hate it. Block. Block. Insatiable Appetite, this one. Submit, make a broom. Kill Garruk, wolf trigger, put a counter on your Garruks, and you still have a wolf. Alright. Well, we beat a Garruk, I guess. They're gonna outmuscle the broom right now? Cool, outmuscle, please. Please outmuscle these so that my other important creatures survive. Rosethorn Acolyte. Alright, I think we go Bognaughty here. Remember, their hand is stacked full of, like, expensive cards. Keeper of Fables can't actually get hit by the whatchamacallit. They killed my broom. Jerks. I need to press my advantage to start doing more damage, I think. Hopefully they don't have another Outmuscle. Even Reeve Soul kills Bognati. That's why I said this is not the premier card I thought it was going to be in the format, because it just dies to a lot of the cheap common removal. Scorch and Dragonfire, so tiny, blah, blah, blah. Like, this 5-mana 3/3 flyer is sometimes good, sometimes bad in a format, and I think this is a format where it just doesn't stack up very well. Okay, I like that they're just playing a Beanstalk Giant. They're probably going to attack with the Wolf, I imagine. I don't have good blocks on it. Put me down to 14. Alright. So I'm going to play Keeper of Fables, I imagine, and just attack with Bognati. Draw a card. Oh, Memory Theft would have been nice last turn. Do I go for Memory Theft and just try to take a removal spell out of their hand, or do I go for Keeper and just get my guaranteed card this turn? I guess they have Rosethorn Acolyte active. The problem with Memory Theft is I'm not adding to the board at all. I'm just going to be a little bit risky here and attack, guarantee a card. Spinning Wheel. Sure, Spinning Wheel I guess is in fact a card. Alright. Ooh, Spinning Wheel of your own is kind of annoying. Tall as a Beanstalk. So that gives their creature reach. Alright, I guess we're not cheesing the opponent. And Rosethorn Halberd. Alright, so all in on the spells this turn, I guess. Beanstalk Giant is fine. No, I'll... Actually... I can deal 5 damage with this Insatiable Appetite in my graveyard, because I can go once in future and put it in hand. Oh, boy. I do think I just block this turn, though. No, I'm going to take the hit this turn and then just make him spin and wheel me or something. Revenge of Ravens, is that good? I can go spin and wheel into Revenge. I can also go attack with Bognati, and if they block with Rosethorn Acolyte, I can throw the food at it to kill it off. Let's see. If I go attack with everything, they go block here and probably block Bognati, and I have 2 plus 5 damage in my graveyard. That's still not enough. I'm tempted to go like just spin and wheel Revenge of Ravens here and try to get him low enough that I can snipe the win with my Appetite. Also, if I attack with this, they can play around the food as well with the Bognati. Oh, this is kind of a tough turn. I'm not 100% sure what to do. I kind of like going attack here. And then if they want to block, I'll -3/-3 that thing. And then what could they have? A bunch of things, I guess. Oh, no, 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 no. We want to activate the ability. Ooh, that would have been bad. So that'll turn it back into a 2/3. And we should just eat it unless their last card is Lash of Thorns. Do I Memory Theft them? Do I try to take that last card, or do I just play my Spinning Wheel and commit to blocking? I can't play the Revenge now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of just want to play the Spinning Wheel game and hope that their last card isn't something insane. Because they could go Ayara. Okay, Ayara is not what I would classify as insane, but it is a good draw here. It does mean I have to block both their creatures. And they have Spinning Wheel active. Alright, they're probably going to be 4 blocks. Oh, no, they didn't. So they let me trade off a creature here, which is fine. Honestly, I could go Chump Chump. And then they go tap this down. I still don't have enough damage with the Insatiable Appetite. So maybe I'm supposed to trade here and then Chump. And then they go untap. Yeah, I don't think I can win this game. Because they go... No, I actually have my Spinning Wheel to fight this as well. So I'm going to trade off creatures here. And by that I mean trade these two. And then they're going to use their spinning wheel to tap down Bognaughty, and I can return the favor by spinning wheel the Beanstalk Giant. So I can afford to cast nothing. Alright, let's make him do it. Tap down my thing. No attacks. And I have to pass here and use my spinning wheel to tap down their Beanstalk Giant. Ginger Brew off the top. Sure. Are they going to equip up their Ginger Brew here? Sure. Okay, this is bad. Admittedly, this is bad. So now I go tap this, so I can block a Yara and take the hit from the Ginger Brew, and then I need to draw straight gas. Or anything that makes food helps me a little bit here. Like a Curious Pear would be fine. I guess it's not actually that good. Oh, I don't even have the food for the Insatiable Appetite anymore. Okay, Giant Opportunity makes 3 food, so what does that do for me? I go Giant Opportunity, and then I activate Bognaughty to kill Ginger Brute. And then they go Spinning Wheel, tap your Curious Pear, attack with both. I chump here, and I take 2 and die. Am I just dead? I can't do anything else besides play this and just make food, right? Revenge of Ravens doesn't really do it for me. Spinning Wheel doesn't cut it. Spinning Wheel just means I'm chumping this turn. I think I'm just going to go for the play and hope my opponent doesn't really see it, to be honest. Sacrifice some foods. Can I afford to attack and then they... Nope. No, I really can't afford to do that. Alright, opponent, you're up. Maybe I should have gotten Revenge down when I could have this game. Would have gained me a little bit of extra life. Alright, does Rosethorn Halberd change things? Probably does. Because now they equip to Ayara, which is not a human. And they spin and wheel down anything, I guess. Yeah, so I am dead, right? Yeah. Well, I can gain 6 life. But I have to block Beanstalk Giant. So best I can do is go block here. They have 6 coming in. I can gain 6 life though, right? Oh, they have 7 coming in. It's best I can do though. So I'm not just dead. I survive at 1 life here, right? And then what? They still have spin and wheel. They still have all this stuff active. My board just changed by 1 creature. That was it. Tree Folk. Doesn't do anything. I'm so close to the win with this Insatiable Appetite. I have a food now, so it's 8 damage. I don't have a way to push in the extra 2 damage. Revenge doesn't do anything. This just kills me now. I can't really do the same thing next turn. Can't even afford to attack. So I guess I go food to kill this. And I'm still a mana short from activating Spin and Wheel even. So there's nothing I can do here. Yeah, I think that's going to go ahead and do it. Maybe I would have been better served getting our Revenge of Ravens down earlier that game. And then all of these attacks would have looked so much better because I would have been gaining life. That could help me stabilize. So a measly 2-2 with our food deck. Unfortunately, not having removal just really hurt us. But you guys saw the draft. What was there? 1 Outmuscle and 1 Reeve Soul in the entire draft. No Bacon Two Pies, nothing else. Not even the common removal. No epic downfalls. Unfortunately, there just wasn't the tools there to keep up with other big creatures, and that's all we played against was big creatures. But I would rather have those matchups and win some and lose some than play against the mill deck all day long, which our deck could never beat. So I'm satisfied with that, you know. It's not quite the same as real food, but it does the trick even if we lost gems on that exchange. Let's go ahead and open up our packs. Hey, look, it's that card that doesn't exist. And then we'll go ahead and wrap up this video. I mean, we almost beat a Garrick there. Like, I thought I was just going to lose. We did have the win on that Garrick. Or we had the way to clear the Garrick off the board, so that's something, I suppose. But thanks for joining me. I know this was a long one. I didn't mean to do best of 3. But I think as far as Bifrost goes, this video went together pretty well. Like, the food deck actually came together with the Trail of Crumbs. We didn't get any Savvy Hunters. We didn't get a lot of our... We didn't get, like, the rares like Troll Shaman or whatever it's called, the Troll King, Feast and Troll King, or Gilded Goose or anything like that. Wicked Wolf would have been nice as well. But I think we had a actual legitimate food deck, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, even if we didn't do so hot. But that's going to do it for Bifrost. I think the last one we're going to do for Throne of Eldraine is the Adventure deck, which hopefully turns out pretty sweet. Maybe we get to actually play our own Edgewall Innkeepers and things of that nature, and see how that turns out. If you have ideas for episodes of Bifrost related specifically to Throne of Eldraine, feel free to drop that in the comments below. And if for some reason you're still here, listening to me speak for, the 3rd hour straight or whatever, drop a like and let me know what you like about the series and what you don't, so I can improve the channel. Find us on Twitter, mtg_manarocks, subscribe below on YouTube, yada yada yada, all